Morning, boys. How are you? Hope you had a nice long weekend. So I'm going to be doing maths with fourth class this week. Taking over from Mr. Kelleher last week. Okay. So this week, you can see behind me, we're going to be concentrating on time. Okay, time. So where do we see things that tell us the time? We have our clock. Very good. A clock on the wall in school or at home. Watches. Yeah, our watches. Very good. Have it on our phones now, don't we? We have it on our phones. Okay, so there's lots of different ways that we see the time. Okay, now 2 weeks ago when we looked at length, the measurements that we used for length every day were centimeters. Remember, with our fingertip, we'd centimeters, and then the width of our hands was our meters. So those are the measurements we used for length. Now the measurements we use for time, when we're talking about time, we must use the words hours and minutes. Those are the words we must use when we're talking about time. Okay, hours and minutes. Instead of writing hours every time you're talking about hours, or writing the full word minutes every time you're talking about minutes, there's a shorter way to write them that everybody will understand. Okay, so it's HRS for hours, and it's MINS for minutes. So when you see HRS, 3 hours, you know that's hours. And when you see MINS, you know that it's minutes, okay? So it's called an abbreviation. So it's a shorter version of the word. Because you might write it a lot. So instead of writing hours and minutes constantly, you just write the abbreviated version here. HRS for hours and MINS for minutes, okay? Now this is a book that I got for Harry because he's learning how to tell the time at the moment. So we'll use the clock in the middle just as a good way for me to show you demonstrate things when we're talking about time. Okay, so this would be an analog clock. Okay, and then where's my phone? That would be our digital clock, wouldn't you? That's Harry and O on the front. Okay, so that's my digital. Okay, 1604, and then this would be an analog clock. Okay, now obviously this is a Mach one, but would be our analog. So our digital and our analog clocks. Two types of clocks that we look at. Okay, so you can see here is our clock. Push this down. Okay, and we can see, so there's numbers 1 to 12. Okay, now each of these intervals here, so here, they're intervals of 5. Okay, so when we're doing our numbers and we're counting up in intervals, we count up in intervals of 5. Okay, on our clock, looking at these numbers. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay? So this will tell us there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So count that with me now again so we understand that, okay? 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we're going to count in our 5s, 5, 10, 15. So you can count with me, okay? So we'll start here. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So my 60 minutes. There will never be more than 60 minutes in 1 hour. There will always be 60 minutes in 1 hour. And I've shown you now how we know that, okay? We can see it on our clock. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, and that will never, ever change. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the exercise here that we have in Busy at Maths. It's page 125, and I'll put the page in the Google Classroom, so don't worry about that, okay? So one of the first exercises they're asking us to do in our Busy at Maths, okay, is to convert, so convert would be to change, okay, minutes into hours and minutes, okay? So I'll show you now what that actually means, okay? So one of the questions here, it's asking us, okay, to turn 80 minutes into something that says hours and minutes, okay? So when we're in school or in our everyday life, we don't say 80 minutes, 120 minutes, 340 minutes. We talk about hours and minutes, okay? So that's what we're learning. We're learning maths to help us in our everyday lives. I'm always saying that, okay? This maths is for our everyday lives. So we don't say in 80 minutes time. We never would say that, okay? So if we know that it's 80 minutes, a movie might be 80 minutes long, we'll be calculating in our brain to say how many hours and minutes would that be, okay? So our golden rule is always that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Always, always, always. 60 minutes, we saw it on our clock, is always equal to 1 hour. So here I have 80 minutes. So how many hours are in 80 minutes? How do I make that out? Okay, 60 is 1 hour. So if 60 is 1 hour, I can do it up here. If 60 is 1 hour, 60 minutes. So I better use my units of measurement. So if I say 60 mins is equal to 1 hour, what would 2 hours be, do you think? It would be double that, wouldn't it? It would be twice that. So it would be 120 minutes. So it's useful even if you want to just write that down. 3 hours, what would 3 hours be? I do my multiplication, I do my 60 minutes multiplied by 3. 3 zeros is 0, 6 threes are 18. So I know that it's 180 minutes. For my 2 hours here, it was 60 multiplied by 2. 2 zeros doesn't look like a 2. That. Multiplied by 2. 2 zeros are 0. 2 sixes are 12. That's where I get this. And that's where I get that. Okay? That's where I'm getting those figures. So if my 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, that's my golden rule. That will never change. That will always be the same. Okay? So for 2 hours, I know through my multiplication that 2 hours is 120 minutes, 3 hours is 180 minutes, and you could do that the whole way down if you wanted to see how many minutes for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, etc. Okay? So for my 80 minutes here, okay, is it 2 hours? 80 minutes. It couldn't be because 80 is less than 120. So I know now that it's 1 hour, because my 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if I take my 60 from that, because that's my 1 hour, what I have left over? How many minutes? 20 minutes. Okay? So that should be minutes, because it's more than 1. So it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay? So we're using a lot of our math skills to figure these things out. We can use our multiplication up at the top to see how many hours, how many minutes are in a certain number of hours. That's our multiplication. Down here we've used our subtraction skills, and this page in Busy at Maths you're going to be using your addition skills as well. Okay? So everything that we learn just comes together when we're going through our Busy at Maths book to bring all our math skills together just to help us. And again, we're learning this to use it in our everyday lives. Okay? So we had 80 minutes was equal to 1 hour and 20 minutes. So we'll do another one. Okay, it has here 100 minutes. 100 minutes is equal to something hours and something minutes. Now, 100 can be a tricky one because you might see 100 and think, oh, that's 1 hour. 100 would be equal to an hour. You would think it's understandable to think why you might think that 100 minutes is equal to an hour. So you must always just dig into your brain. Always 60 minutes is always equal to an hour. And then you can never be caught out with that, okay? 60 minutes is always equal to an hour, and you know why, because I've showed you the clock on the book here, and we've counted up to 60 minutes, okay? So, 100 minutes. We can look up here. Where would 100 fit in? It's still 1 hour, isn't it? It said 1 hour. So I'll do that in red. So it's 1 hour. So I might minus my 60 over here. And what's left over is 40. So it's 1 hour, 40 minutes. Okay? 100 minutes is 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay? Now, we're going to do it the opposite way around. Now it's asking us in Busy at Maths, it's asking us to put hours and minutes into just minutes, okay? So the first one we have here is 1 hour, 30 minutes is equal to how many minutes? Now, you see that sometimes with movies, it would say the number of minutes rather than hours and minutes. I've noticed that if I'm watching things with the boys, it would have this like 120 minutes or whatever, and you figure out in your head then how many hours that would be. So here we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do 1 hour plus 30 minutes. Now, we're using our addition skills here. I know that 1 hour, how many minutes is equal to 1 hour? 60. Very good. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So I have my 60 minutes plus my 30 minutes is going to be equal to 90 minutes. Can you see how I got that? So I'm just going the opposite way. And when we can do it that way in our brain, it's really, really helpful. It's a really good skill to have, okay? So I'll do one more of those ones. So let me look at the Busy at Math. So it says 1 hour, 43 minutes is equal to how many minutes? And again, I'm just using my abbreviation. I'm using the smaller words. It's much faster, okay? So how many minutes are in an hour? Or in 1 hour? Excellent, 60. So my 60 minutes plus my 43 minutes is equal to, now I might want to do it this way. 3 plus 0 is 3, 6 plus 4 is 10. Okay, so my answer is 103 minutes. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. We have our time. We use the words hours and minutes when we're talking about time. Very, very important. If I just had the word 60 here, that might mean anything. Okay, when we're talking about time, we have to use the words minutes and hour. We have to use those words. Okay, so on question, I'm just looking through the questions here. Another thing that we want to do with our time in 4th class is we want to be able, as I said, to use it in our everyday lives. Now you can see here, okay, on the page here. Okay, so you can see we have a timetable here. Okay, so complete the table. Now it's all in order 1 to 6. Okay, and this is a schedule of the day. So you might have a diary. So if we're in school, we have a timetable for school, the time that we start our day, the time that we have our maths, then we have English, then we have our lunch, we eat our lunch, then we go to yard, then we come back, we normally do Irish, or all different things. We have our timetable for the day, okay, of when the day starts, our lunch breaks, our yard time, when the day ends. We have our PE times, we have all the different things in our school day. So this is just another form of that. This is just another schedule, okay? So this is about John and his dad who went to Croke Park for a match, okay? So you could go anywhere. You could be going to the cinema, you could be going anywhere with your family, going to the park, anywhere at all. So it says, John and his dad went to Croke Park to a match, okay? They left home at 1:35 and got to the bus stop after 8 minutes. The bus came 7 minutes later and the bus journey to Croke Park took 35 minutes. They were in their seats in the stand 16 minutes later. So John went to the match with his dad. So when he came home that night, his mum had said, "What time did you get to the stand at? How long did the whole journey take you?" Okay, so this is how I'd find out the answer. So you're going to have to fill in each of these answers here. So left home at. Now those exact words are over here. So they left home at 1:35. So you need to know your starting time, and they've given you that. So left home at 1:35. And they got to the bus stop, this is the next step, they got to the bus stop after 8 minutes. So what am I doing? What math skill am I going to use to get the answer? Very good. You're going to use your addition skills, aren't you? And you're going to add 8 minutes to 1:35. Okay? Then the bus came 7 minutes later. What would you do there? I'm going to leave you you should know, it's similar to the step we just did before. Okay? Maybe it's adding. Okay. Very good. And then they were in their seats in the stand 16 minutes later. So this whole schedule is going to use our addition skills to get us to start from when we left home and tell us what time they got to their seats. Now number 6, the whole journey took. How am I going to find out how much the whole journey took? So I'm using my addition skills from 1 to 5, and you're going to use what skills for number 6? Very good, your subtraction skills, okay? So you're going to take one from the other to find out how long the whole journey took, okay? And it wants the answer in hours and minutes. I don't want you to tell me 90 minutes, 120 minutes. I want 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever. I don't know what the answer is, but whatever that answer is. I want it in hours and minutes, okay? These questions here, a television program began at 2:40 and lasted for 1 hour 35 minutes. At what time did it end? Okay? So again, which skills do we use? Your addition, your subtraction. Think about it. This is a real life problem. We're going to use our time to help us use our real life problems. I'm going to see if you can figure those ones out yourself. And as I said, the ones that you're supposed to do will be in the Google Classroom at the bottom. Okay? So just a quick recap. We're using our time. When we talk about time, we have to use our units of measurement for time. Our units of measurement for time are what? Excellent. Hours and minutes. You have to write hours and minutes, okay? Golden rule, golden rule. 60 minutes is an hour. Always, always, always will never ever change. For the rest of your lives, 60 minutes is always going to equal 1 hour. So bang that and drum that into your head. 60 minutes is an hour. Where did I get 60 minutes from? Did I just pluck it out of my brain and say 60 minutes is equal to an hour? No, I didn't. I got it from my clock. We know that it goes up in intervals of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. There's my 60 minutes in my clock. That's where I get this figure from. Okay? 60 minutes, so that it makes sense. So that is kind of the basics of time for today. If you have any questions, you can just put a comment to myself or Mr. Kelleher, and you're busy at maths. I will put the page. It's page 125, but we'll have it in the Google Classroom anyway. Okay? I hope that makes sense, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, boys. Take care. Bye.